Alright, hi there, this is Steven with Karma Astrology, and I'm coming to you live from Santa Fe, New Mexico. Today is Wednesday, April 28th, 2021. It's about 9:30 a.m. here in Santa Fe, and I'm just doing this daily forecast to give you an idea of the energy of the day and any sort of strengths and weaknesses, auspicious and inauspicious activities on a day like today, based on really where the moon is, since the moon is the kind of object in the sky that moves the fastest. So every day the moon's in a different section of the sky, and we have that mapped out, throughout the zodiac. There's actually these nakshatras or sub-constellations that are Vedic constellations. So in Vedic astrology, we use those to kind of determine the energy of each day. And today, the moon is in Anuradha Nakshatra. You can see the moon down here. There's the moon is MO, and it's at 5:46, and those ANU after the moon, that stands for Anuradha. And you can see down here, I added this recently, that I thought that would be useful. If you're watching the video, you can kind of transpose that 4:59, 5 o'clock a.m. Ending of Anuradha when the moon transitions into the next nakshatra, which is Jeshta, but that's going to be at 5 a.m. Eastern Time US, so you can kind of transpose that to wherever you are on the Earth, depending on what that time is. So, that being said, first of all, I'll talk about the moon being in Scorpio. You can see down here that the moon is officially in Scorpio now. It's about 5 degrees in Scorpio. And Scorpio is not the most friendly sign for the moon to be in. The moon actually feels a little bit uncomfortable in Scorpio because Scorpio deals with our fears, our paranoia, any sort of worries that we have about our vulnerabilities, especially emotionally, as Scorpio is a water sign. Water relates to our emotions and our feelings, and Scorpio's the sign, the feminine side of Mars. And Mars is kind of this defensive, protective energy that wishes to rout out all the things that we perceive to be weakening us. So that could be external things, or it could be internal things through our emotions and our feelings and our kind of assessment of our thoughts and how we can kind of evolve and grow and mature through our sense of fear in the beginning and our worries about being vulnerable, all the way to our sense of preparation and eventually surrender, because ultimately we can only control what's going on in here, what's going on in here with our physiology, our mentality. Those are the things, that are really what we're trying to work through when planets come into Scorpio. And you can see the moon is now joined K2 down here. K2 is that KE, that's the south node of the moon for you. Those of you who are familiar with Western astrology. And K2 kind of deals with our past, our childhood, or anything really in our past, and this sort of past lives and these issues that we've been very familiar with, or we've done a lot of work on, and therefore we kind of are a little tired of doing them and a little hypercritical or cynical of the area wherever K2 is around, because it shows this kind of finalization of our karma. So when the moon and K2 come together, it shows we might be feeling a little more critical, a little more in touch with, judging others or ourselves in a certain way that's a little too harsh and unforgiving. It shows that we could be doing things that kind of kick us in the ass if we're going through this scorpionic process of ridding ourselves of our fears or coming to terms with them. And maybe we're not quite successful in that, and we give ourselves too hard of a time, or we feel like we haven't done enough work and therefore we give ourselves too hard a time, or we project that onto other people and we say, oh, I see, what you're not doing there, you're not taking care of your emotions and your problems, and you're letting it spill out onto everyone else, and we get a little critical of them instead. So keep that in mind and keep that in check. There's this kind of need or desire to to spiritualize or finalize a sense of karma whenever Ketu is involved. And since the moon is our most sensitive, feeling-oriented, in-touch planet, or, luminary, but we call it a planet in general because it has that same kind of influence as the others, it shows that we need to kind of finalize these issues, or else we are going to feel emotionally unsettled and unstable. It's a very spiritual connection, though, because it causes us to really focus on what we need to do to make progress. Now I'm going to drill a little bit deeper. So the moon in Anuradha is actually I'll just talk about Anuradha. So Anuradha is ruled by or connected with the deity. The deity is called Mitra, who is kind of the divine friend. So Anuradha has a lot to do with friendship, friendliness, camaraderie, any sort of getting together with your friends and people that you feel loyal to. And it definitely kind of plays into this sense of loyalty. And Scorpio likes loyalty because loyalty means mental reassurance and kind of stability. So keep that in mind. Loyalty is a big theme for the day. And those who act with loyalty will be praised and will feel more connected to them and more, protected and self-assured. And those who don't act with loyalty towards us, or if we don't act with loyalty towards other people, it'll be noticed. People will be critical of us. That'll be one of the things that people are kind of that Ketu critical of. And then Mitra, is usually always paired with another god, either Varuna or Aryaman, and those are just different deities that kind of show that this loyalty, this sense of pairedness and connection that we feel in Anuradha. The symbol of Anuradha is actually the lotus flower, which is a many-petaled flower that grows out of deep, dark, muddy waters. And so it kind of shows this ability to evolve or come out of difficulty and kind of shine bright and really grow beyond a difficult past or difficult beginnings. So you might even find that the beginning of this day felt very difficult, and now you're kind of blossoming out of it, and you're feeling a lot better, and you're feeling like that difficulty was advantageous for you because it gave you a different perspective and allowed you to grow and evolve and take on a much more well-rounded, kind of wholehearted perspective, because the lotus has a lot to do with kind of opening up. We always see the lotus as this very open flower, but it kind of grows and expands as a flower blooms, of course, from like this very tiny little bulb into, or not bulb, but the flower head, and this many petaled flower. It's a very beautiful process of opening up to all of the different intricacies and depths of who we are. So it has a lot to do with opening up and being kind of vulnerable and open-hearted in a lot of ways. And so when we get very vulnerable and open-hearted and really kind of let our guard down, especially with our friends and those who we love and follow and trust, then that's when that kind of vulnerability comes out, or the sense of just being out there and being kind of almost like emotionally naked or without our defenses in a lot of ways. And it can really spread our sense of devotion and love and connection with the world, or it can kind of cut us off if we get seriously disrespected, or we feel like we disrespect other people, we can be cut off from them. So keep that in mind. Loyalty and that kind of openness, and it needs to be honored and respected, and that's all that needs to be said there. So let's see, I wanted to show you where it is in the sky, so I'm going to switch windows, and then I will show you kind of the area of the sky that Scorpio lies in and where the moon is right now. Okay, I'm gonna do this. There we go. Oops, sorry about that sound. So if we look at the chart, you can see that the moon is kind of at that very end of Libra, beginning of Scorpio, this section of the zodiac. And it's Scorpio's a little bit below that orange line, which represents the path of all the planets in the moon. It's called the ecliptic. They all go through one plane in the sky from our perspective here on Earth. So these stars right around here, this one actually in particular, the top of the three in the claw of Scorpio, the left claw, is called Akrab, I guess. I'm not really sure. It sounds like a Middle Eastern word or something like that from one of those languages, Aramaic, I guess. And then you can see it's kind of this whole little beginning section of Scorpio. Scorpio kind of goes over here and ends around the end of Ophiuchus as the ecliptic moves more into Sagittarius over here, as you can see. So that's where the moon is in the sky, and it's going to be, it ends right about here, is kind of the last area of this section of the sky. It's a little different based on the time of day you're looking at this and everything, but it's going to generally be moving through that kind of claw of the head of the scorpion. And let me go back and bring up the chart again, and I will talk about some of the strengths and weaknesses and other auspicious and inauspicious activities to do on a day like today. Alright, I'm back. So, just transition over here. So yeah, in terms of, strengths, like I was saying, it's a great day to be loyal. It kind of brings up our sense of loyalty and respect and connection with other people. It's a great day to tap into wisdom or research. It gives us this kind of curiosity and knowledge and fun-lovingness and vulnerability, this open-heartedness that allows us to kind of take on new things and new thoughts and concepts and stuff like that. It makes us very friendly on a day like today in general on the strength side. We can be hardworking and devoted in that regard. There's a sense of kind of bravery and self-sacrifice that we can feel towards other people, and this ability to give ourselves and our efforts to their betterment and their behalf. And then it's a good day for friendships and attracting new friends and cooperating with others and kind of leading in a way as well. And then in terms of the weakness or shadow sides, it can lead to feelings of, we can feel a little more guilty on if we're not kind of being loyal or supporting others. We can get cut off for those reasons. We can feel, we can actually take advantage of this vulnerability and be deceitful, and that would be a very dark thing to do. Not great karma involved with that. It can make us feel a little held back or reserved or not able to express ourselves as much. We can get needy, especially emotionally. We can feel a sense of just the need to rebel if we're not feeling protected and secure. So in general, there can also be feelings of jealousy, when we're so connected to other people and we're really devoted to them, and they maybe are more connected to other people than to us, especially with, you never know with relationships and the formation of relationships and stuff. This can really mess with people's minds when the moon is in this section of the sky on a day like today. So you want to be careful not to get too jealous or envious of other people's relationships, and to really respect their relationships. Maybe your partner has a best friend that they're very close with, that's, and you want to be everything to the partner, especially on a day like today. But you have to realize that we all are here together in many different forms, one spirit, just kind of trying to figure it out. And I think we have, many different people in our lives for many different reasons, and that's something that we need to remind ourselves. We can't be everything for somebody, and we can't feel jealous or envious or kind of put out or alone